What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update for you guys. But before we do get into that, I want to tell you about our brand new website, WeAreTottenhamTV.co.uk, regular Tottenham blog posts. So if this content on YouTube isn't enough for you, then go and see our written content on our website. But let's get into the Tottenham update, and let's start off with a bit of transfer news, talking about Armand Lauriente. The Sassuolo winger Armand Lauriente's agent has told Tutto Mercato Web that Tottenham have been interested in his client.
Interesting.
I mean, to tell you the truth, I hadn't heard of him before this news came out like last night. But what can you tell me about him?
I'd heard of him, but I haven't obviously seen him too much. Like, I don't watch Sassuolo on a regular basis. I know he's like a winger, versatile winger who can play on the left, can play on the right. He's a very good at dribbling. He's quite quick. He's pacey. He's got a decent shot on him as well. Last season, I think he got 7 goals, 6 assists in Serie A. So a decent season for him. He is 24, so I wouldn't say he's like a youngster, but he's not exactly old either. I think he's probably a player we can see playing on either wing and give us different options. He reminds me of a bit like a better version of basically Manuel Solomon, essentially, and been a bit more versatile, although predominantly again plays on the left rather than the right, but has pretty much throughout his career been a bit even where he's played. So I think he's a player playing very well in Italy right now, and maybe he's one who could really fit the system. And I think maybe when it comes to a scouting and data point of view, I think he's one that really fits the profile what we're looking for in a winger.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the stats now. 4.91 progressive carries per 90, 2.81 successful take-ons per 90 as well. And he sits in the kind of 90th percentile for both of those, close to anyway. So in terms of those kind of data, it kind of feels like it does fit what Ange Postecoglou wants out of his wingers. Do you think, like, with the wingers that we have already brought in, obviously Perisic is on his way out, do you think we are looking for another winger?
Probably, because I mean we got Brennan Johnson in and Kulusevski. I mean, you want probably 4, don't you? 2 for each position. So we got Johnson, Kulusevski. Son is going to be a striker now. I'm thinking so. And then on the other wings, you got Solomon, Perisic on his way out. You still got Gil and Sessegnon, but I think in terms of quality, there's only really 2 there where I'm like, okay, Brennan Johnson, Kulusevski, I'm very happy with them. Solomon, we're still not sure about yet, but he's made good start to life at Tottenham. And then other than that, we're lacking a bit. So I would say we are looking for another winger.
Would you say we want another striker as well, or are we happy with Son and Richarlison?
It depends on Richarlison. Obviously, we're delighted with Son. We know Son can do it, but it's all about Richarlison.
All right. But let us know in the comment section below, are you interested in bringing in another winger, and would Armand Lauriente be that man to fit the bill? Let's talk about some injury news. Looks like there has been a return to training for Ryan Sessegnon, as Sammy Mokbel says that Sessegnon has returned to light training at Tottenham, and following his hamstring injury will recommence outdoor running imminently, which is a major boost for the player and the club. Well, I'm not sure how much of a major boost it is for the club, but I think Sessegnon needs to get to grips with things at Spurs. It's been so long now where we've kind of seen flashes at times, but we've never seen him play consistently well for any amount of time. And I don't even know what position he fits at Tottenham anymore, because I'm not sure if that inverted role at left back is going to suit him. I don't know if we want him at left wing either. So where do you think he fits at Tottenham?
Yeah, it's a really interesting one, because if you look at his profile, maybe he profiles closer to like his Destiny Udogie than he does to like Emmanuel Solomon when it comes to what kind of player he is. So maybe he would be more suited to that left back role. But I do have that worry about him defensively. Like apart from Udogie, I think strength wise, I don't know, and defensively wise, is he going to be too much of a liability? So does he become more of a winger? Then if he's a winger, I obviously see him as a left-sided winger, but is he good enough taking his man one-on-one, trying to get crosses in the box? To be fair, like, he's obviously had his trouble at Spurs, and his best position has seemed to be wing-back, but he's by and large played under Mourinho, not under Mourinho, played under Contact when he got his most of his appearances in a Tottenham shirt. So maybe under a more offensive manager, we might be able to see a better Sessegnon as well. We've seen here how he's improved these other players, so maybe it's not time to completely write off Sessegnon right out, but if he's going to be a winger, I would hope he's probably behind Brian Hill if it comes to the left-hand side, so I want to see him get ahead of it. Is he going to be ahead of Ben Davies when it comes to being a backup left-back potentially? I would say, like, pace-wise and how he plays, maybe if he can learn the role quickly, he can maybe usurp Ben Davies as the backup left back, but it's going to be very tricky to see where he fits in and what kind of role he's playing in the team. So I think if I'm pushed on it, I'll probably say he'd be a winger That's probably, I would say, I would like to see him and see what he can do in that position. Because I think getting to the byline, getting crosses in the box, maybe he's more suited to that than playing that inverted role.
But I guess the issues have always been the injuries with Ryan Sessegnon. Ever since he's come here, his career has just been blighted with them. And that's what's really held him back consistently, time and time again. Any time he's seen a bit of light at the end of the tunnel, he's injured for a few months here and there. So it's very frustrating with Ryan. I think this is probably his last chance now this season. If he can't impress from now to the end of the season or even stay fit, then we probably look to sell in the summer. Because we know we were looking to sell this summer. It's just the injury that held it back.
Yeah, but I think it's good at least to have him back. Now the Perisic injury is obviously out for the season. So we have another option there just in case, and we're not as short as numbers as maybe we might thought with Perisic out. So I'm glad that he's maybe going to get another opportunity. And look, let's see what he can do. If he doesn't work out again, then we're just in the same situation. But maybe he can be like a new signing. You never know.
Yeah, let's hope so. Let's talk about Alfie Devine now. A good night for Alfie last night as Port Vale advanced in the Carabao Cup, and no player who played in the Cup last night created more chances than Alfie Devine, which was 5, one which led to the winning goal. Well, that can't be right because they won on penalties, but he was also the man of the match yesterday and the best player in the Carabao Cup yesterday. He had 1 dribble out of his 1, long balls 2 out of 2, ground duels 4 out of 5, and 1 key pass on the day. I mean, it must have been the worst penalty shootout in history because Crewe missed every single one of their penalties.
It says they won 2-1 Port Vale.
So I must have been looking at something completely different.
Yeah, looking at the wrong game. Sutton.
Oh, so Crewe must have... So when did they play Crewe?
Maybe on the weekend. I don't know.
What, on penalties though?
I'm not sure what you were looking at.
I don't know what I was looking at.
Crewe didn't play yesterday.
I don't know what I was looking at. Fine. He got the assist for the winning goal.
There we go.
So these stats I just read out were from the Crewe game then.
But I mean, the stats were pretty impressive. I was looking at them last night, and he completed 4 of his 6 dribbles. He had 81% pass accuracy. 4 of his 5 is the same stats or not? No. 4 of his 5 long passes completed. 6 of his 11 ground duels, key passes, 5 key passes, and obviously got an assist as well for, as you say, for the winning goal, which must have been he actually played unbelievable reporting at WeAreTottenham TV as usual, but he played on the left wing, which is quite interesting. He has been playing a bit more of an offensive position for Port Vale since coming in, and I'm happy. Like, it's not easy for a 19-year-old, even at that level, to be like the main player and the go-to man. He seems to be the guy that they look to create chances, and he seems to be above the rest at the moment. He got man of the match yesterday.
Yeah, he's not playing every game at the moment. He is coming on in certain games and stuff like that. But I think with the performances that he is showing at the moment in certain games, I think he will be a first team regular like sooner rather than later, to be honest. And it's a very positive start to his loan spell at Port Vale, that's for sure.
He'll have to start on the weekend after a performance like that.
Yeah, you would think so. And like you compare it to Dane Scarlett's loan spell at Ipswich, he's just not seeming to get any sort of game time at the moment. Even last night in the Cup, they played Wolves. I don't even think he was on the bench yesterday.
No. Didn't seem to be on the bench.
So, I mean, he's only seen a couple of minutes here and there off the bench, Dane Scarlett, so far. So hopefully he'll see some minutes sooner rather than later as well.
Although, just quickly touching on Ipswich, not to labour on the point, but that I'll see them playing some really nice football against Wolves yesterday. So if he can get in that team, I'm sure there'll be chances for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're doing really flying high in the Championship as well.
Maybe that's why he can't get in the team.
I guess, yeah. But look, let's move on to the next thing. And we've been hearing a lot of smack talk from Gooners over the past few days, especially after the game, talking about Spurs weren't impressive. It was just because Arsenal were missing so many players, blah, 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 blah. But we finally found an Arsenal fan that is speaking a bit of sense about Tottenham, and that is Ian Wright. And he said on his podcast, I think it was yesterday, he says, they're impressive. James Maddison symbolises Spurs. They have a fresh, young, cocky naivety about them. Yes, it is beautiful. They've got players that can scare you. Udogie, Vicario, Van de Ven look very accomplished. Sarr, Bissouma, Son, you can feel this team. They're together, and they know that they can play football. If I'm a Tottenham fan, I'm feeling pretty good. we as Arsenal fans feel like we're going to have to keep an eye on them. As hard as it is for me to say, I think they're on the way with what they're doing. So very high praise there from Ian Wright.
Nice to hear that from an Arsenal fan, because a lot of them have been quite salty after the game, blaming injuries, blaming this and that. And I don't understand these excuses, because yes, Rice went off at half time, but they brought on a player, Jorginho, who Arteta signed in January. They brought on Havertz, who Arteta signed this summer in 65 million.
Yeah.
They had Reece Nelson, who this summer Arteta gave a new contract to. So if these players aren't good enough, then you only have yourself to blame, and it's only Arteta's fault because he's the one who signed these players. So I don't want to hear these excuses about injuries and this and that, because these are the players that you've chosen. At the end of the day,
you know what other excuses I'm hearing is like, Arteta didn't make the right calls. Well, he's your manager. Like, you got to back his decisions at the end of the day. You've been singing his praises for the past 2 years, and now suddenly he makes a few wrong calls against Spurs, and that's the thing that's thrown out this result out the window.
Exactly, they've just proved wrong. They all said if we came and play Ange, Bill would get ripped apart, and the opposite happened. So I think that they're just annoyed that they got proven wrong, and maybe they're not at the stage they thought they would be at this point. So they must be frustrated with that, and I understand. But look, Ian Wright giving us our props, and I think he's right. I think things are clearly happening at Tottenham. There's reasons to be excited. I think from a Tottenham point of view, we just have to hope that starting 11 is as fit as possible, because I really believe that literally one change in that back four, or Basuma out or Maddison out, and that result probably doesn't happen, and it's a different story. Like, it's just a different story. So we are heavily relying on certain players staying fit right now. That's the reality. Our squad isn't very deep, but the fact that even with our starting 11 staying fit, the fact that we're at that level is still impressive. I don't care what anyone says, and it's not about luck why we're there because of injuries. It's just about Ange's, how he's managed the squad and how he's got the team up to a level. And look, I couldn't be more excited for the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. And let's move on to the last story of the update, and a bit of a feel-good story for Lucas Moura. Congratulations to Lucas, as his team, Sao Paulo, beat Flamengo last night in the Copa do Brazil final, and that brings a very telling stat at Tottenham. 62nd former player that has left to go and win a trophy. Unbelievable, isn't it?
Every player leaves.
Every single
even
player.
Nuno won a trophy, for God's sake. It happens every time. Look, I'm happy for him. I don't know if you saw the video at the final whistle. He dropped to his knees and he was very emotional. You know what an emotional guy Lucas is. So I'm very happy that he's won a trophy for Sao Paulo, and I'm sure it was a great moment for him. But it's just a classic Tottenham. As soon as anyone leaves Tottenham, they win a trophy. It's just our luck. It is what it is. But look, I'm happy for him. I'm not going to no ill will.
62nd player since 2008, though.
Crazy.
It's just nuts.
It's crazy. Anytime.
62.
It's crazy.
But look, big up to Lucas Moura. I was very happy when I saw the scenes on social media last night. But that brings an end to the update. Like I said before, please do go and check out our brand new website. Link is in the description below. Brand new blog post going on there every single day. So thank you everyone for watching today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.